Hello and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making pot roast. Okay, to start with our pot roast, you're going to need at least 4 medium to large potatoes, which you are going to peel and then cut into large pieces. Basically, the pieces can be as large as you want them to be, but you want them to be something that if you put a fork into, it's going to be able to pick it up and not have like little teeny tiny bits that you have to keep working with to get on your fork. As you're cutting your potatoes, as you can see with mine, there were dark spots. Make sure you get them out. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes when you get potatoes, so make sure you clean them up before you put them in the pan. So as you're cutting your potatoes, I usually cut them in half first, then flip them over and cut them again in half, and then just slice across, so that way it gives decent sized chunks of potato. So as you can see in the video, that is what mine is doing right now. Once you have them cut, put them into a container to the side, so that way you don't get them mixed up with the stuff you've already peeled off. And do the same thing for all 4 potatoes. So when you're finished with your potatoes, you're going to need to get a small container that you can put a half a cup of hot water into. It doesn't have to be boiling, just hot enough that when you put the better than bouillon beef flavor in it, it will dissolve, because you want to dissolve this. And you're going to use 1 tablespoon of better than bouillon beef flavor to put into this water. This is going to give a flavoring to your beef, but it's also going to give moisture when it's cooking, so that way it doesn't dry out too much. So stir this until it's mixed up. It will take a minute for it to completely dissolve. It doesn't do it immediately, but the heated water will help in that process. And when you think you're completely done with that, then you can get ready to move on to the next step. Just make sure that the majority of the bouillon is dissolved. So you're going to need a decently large baking pan to put this in. I have a glass dish for this, in which I am adding at least 3 tablespoons of olive oil, which you're going to coat the bottom with. You can run your fingers across this. You can use whatever to smear it. Whatever works for you is fine. Just make sure that you go all across the bottom, so that way you don't have anything sticking to your pan. So when you are ready to get towards adding your beef, the beef is your choice of what kind of beef you want to use, how large a piece you want to use. It's all on you. It depends on how many people you're feeding and as far as the type of beef you like. I just went for some general beef, and this is only half of the piece that I bought because I didn't need that many, because there's only 2 people eating out of it. To this, you're going to start putting in your potatoes that you cut up earlier. Make sure you spread them all the way around the outer edge of the beef. You want to kind of keep them to where they're going to go all the way around. You want filler around the edges. To this, you are going to add at least a half a cup of baby carrots. Now you can use regular carrots and cut them up. I like the baby ones because you really don't have to do much to them to put them in this. You just drop them in. And then when you're done with that, you're going to cut 1 small onion up into pieces and put it along the edges as well. So once you've gotten everything distributed, we're going to add some steak seasoning on top of this, just to give the beef a kick. It's going to give it flavor and make it a little bit better. And to that, we are adding a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of pepper, and a half teaspoon of salt. So make sure you evenly distribute this, especially the salt and pepper. Get it onto the vegetables. You want to make sure everything has a little bit of it, so that way when this cooks, it's going to give them flavor as well. You're going to preheat your oven to 375 degrees, at which you are going to cook this for 3.5 to 4 hours. If your oven cooks lower, you might want to go to 400. And then take your better than beef bouillon and pour it over top. And you're going to cook this. And when it comes out of the oven, it looks a lot like this. Everything is cooked through, including the potatoes, the carrots, the meat. It's all cooked thoroughly at this time. You want to check along the way to make sure that everything is heated well. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time.